Jennifer Harris never expected July 10th, 2025, to be her last day on Earth. It started like any other shift, coffee in hand, apron-tied, managing a busy McDonald's in East Point, Michigan. As a 39-year-old manager and a mother of 6, Jennifer knew how to juggle stress. But nothing could have prepared her for what was coming. By nightfall, she would be dead stabbed repeatedly inside the very workplace she helped hold together for years. Her alleged killer? Not a stranger, not a customer, but a 26-year-old employee named Afeni Badu Muhammad, someone she had likely managed dozens of times before. It wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment explosion. It wasn't self-defense. Police say it was planned. Earlier that day, an argument between Jennifer and Afeni had escalated. Details are still under investigation, but what's known is that Jennifer told Afeni to go home after the heated dispute. Witnesses say Afeni appeared angry, stormed out of the building, and didn't clock back in. But she didn't go home. Instead, according to prosecutors, Afeni went to her car, retrieved a large kitchen knife, and drove to a nearby park to wait. After about 30 minutes, she returned to McDonald's, now dressed in a mask and hoodie, and entered the building through a back door. Inside, Jennifer was reportedly unaware of the danger behind her. But what happened next was violent and deliberate. Afeni allegedly approached Jennifer from behind and began stabbing her multiple times. According to court testimony, the blade was over 3 inches long. Other employees ran for safety. A customer at the drive-thru, who was lawfully carrying a concealed weapon, witnessed the attack and fired his gun in an attempt to stop it, according to police and the prosecutor's office. Muhammad fled to her vehicle, where the customer followed her and held her at gunpoint until East Point police arrived and arrested her. When officers entered the building, they found Jennifer bleeding heavily on the floor. She was pronounced dead shortly after. Afeni was arrested on the spot.
Right now, friends and family are gathering at a McDonald's in East Point to honor the life of a mother of 6 killed in a stabbing.
Jennifer Harris was killed while she worked as a manager at that location. An employee at the restaurant is charged with her murder. Let's get out to Victor Williams. He's live there for us tonight. Victor, there's been a huge outpouring of support from the community.
That's right. Everyone is pretty much still in shock, but everyone's here for Jennifer Harris, as you guys can see right now. They're all here to pay their respects to this woman who sadly was stabbed in the face multiple times by an employee. There's going to be a balloon release that's going to be held shortly, but family, friends, co-workers, and community members who are still in shock are here to, of course, honor Jennifer, who was a single mother of 6. In the meantime, 26-year-old Afeni Muhammad is now charged with first-degree murder, carrying a dangerous weapon with unlawful intent, and then, of course, being a habitual offender. It's believed that she was sent home, but then came back to commit the murder, allegedly stabbing Jennifer in the face at least 15 times. We've also learned that she's also connected to a prior stabbing elsewhere. She's now being held on a $25 million bond, but family members are heartbroken, wishing that they could see Jennifer just one more time.
Every time just thinking about what happened to her and stuff, and it's not really fair. We need her back, but we can't have her back. We need her back. She was a good person.
You can see just how heartbroken family members are. We're going to be hearing more from them, at 6 p.m. In the meantime, we are live in East Point. Victor Williams, Local 4.
Just heartbreaking. Okay, Victor, thank you.
In court the next day, she was charged with first-degree premeditated murder, carrying a dangerous weapon with unlawful intent, and habitual offender status due to a prior record. Her bond was set at $25 million cash only. The judge cited her as a danger to the community and a flight risk. Welcome to True Crime Diaries, the place where we uncover shocking stories, unsolved cases, and deep mysteries from the world of crime. From real events to breakthroughs in investigation, we break it all down so you can see what really happened. Before we begin, don't forget to tap the subscribe button. Drop a comment below. Where are you watching from? Drop your thoughts as this story unfolds. Your opinion counts. These are real people, real events, and serious lessons we must not ignore. Share this video with someone you care about. It could make a difference, maybe even save a life. Let's get started. Jennifer Harris was more than a manager. She was a mother, a provider, and a respected member of her East Point community. At 39, she had worked in fast food management for over a decade. She was known for her steady leadership and her warm presence with both customers and staff. Jennifer Harris didn't live a life of luxury, but she lived a life of purpose. She was a mother of 6, a devoted friend, and a longtime manager at a McDonald's restaurant in East Point, Michigan. Every morning, she woke up early, packed lunches for her kids, tied her apron, and stepped into a job that many would overlook, but she never took it lightly. Jennifer raised 6 children and balanced long shifts with soccer games, school runs, and birthday parties. Her coworkers describe her as calm under pressure and always willing to listen. Some younger employees said she treated them like her own. To her, McDonald's wasn't just a place to earn a paycheck. It was her second home. She led her team with patience, often staying late to help younger employees or clean up after a long shift. She believed in hard work, and more than that, she believed in giving people chances, even when they didn't deserve it. For Jennifer, her job wasn't just about burgers and fries. It was about building people up. Her sudden violent death left her family broken and the local community reeling. On the other hand, Afeni Badu Muhammad, 26, had only been working at the McDonald's for a short time. Not much is publicly known about her upbringing, but court records revealed she had a prior criminal history, which contributed to her being labeled a habitual offender during the arraignment. Co-workers described Afeni as quiet and withdrawn. Some said she often clashed with authority and had issues with temper control. The exact reason behind the fatal argument with Jennifer is unclear, but investigators say Afeni confessed to the killing and admitted she intended to go back to the store with the purpose of stabbing Jennifer. Her motive is still being examined by mental health experts and prosecutors. People around Jennifer often said she carried the weight of the world with grace. With 6 children depending on her, she had learned to manage stress without showing it. Her smile was calm, her voice steady, even when things got tense during busy hours. Many customers knew her by name. Some kids even called her Miss Jennifer and ran to hug her when they came in. But behind that calm exterior, Jennifer was tired. She worked long shifts, handled constant staffing shortages, and managed difficult personalities. Yet she never let those challenges take away her kindness. Was she too understanding? Did her empathy blind her to danger? On July 10th, 2025, Jennifer clocked in like usual. That day started with no sign of what was coming. She managed the breakfast rush, joked with a few coworkers, and sent a text to her daughter during her break. She had plans that evening to pick up groceries. It was just another ordinary Thursday, or so she thought. One of her employees on shift that day was Afeni Badu Muhammad. Afeni had a habit of clashing with authority. There had been past warnings, small arguments, and complaint from other staff. But Jennifer kept her on the schedule. Maybe she believed Afeni could change. Maybe she didn't want to be the reason someone lost their job. By mid-afternoon, a disagreement broke out between Jennifer and Afeni. No one knows exactly what words were exchanged, but witnesses said it wasn't loud, just tense. Jennifer, staying professional, asked Afeni to go home. It wasn't the first time someone had been sent home after an argument. To Jennifer, it was likely just a temporary fix for a difficult moment. But did she sense something was different this time? Could she feel the heaviness in the air before Afeni walked out? Did she wonder if she had gone too easy on her too many times before? After Afeni left, Jennifer returned to her tasks. She greeted a few customers, helped in the kitchen, and answered the phone. There were no signs of fear, no signs of panic. Everything seemed normal. Just another shift, just another day. What no one could see and what no one could predict was that a decision made out of calm authority was about to turn deadly. That by sending Afeni home, Jennifer may have unknowingly sealed her own fate. Why do we often ignore warning signs when they come from people we think we understand? And how do we know when kindness becomes a risk? Afeni Badu Muhammad wasn't well known outside the fast food kitchen, but inside, her presence was unmistakable. At just 26 years old, she had already developed a reputation among co-workers as someone difficult to work with. She rarely spoke unless necessary, avoided small talk, and often showed visible frustration when given instructions. Her Instagram posts reflect her personality. She could be seen in videos doing the unusuals, weird stuffs. She had joined the McDonald's team just a few months earlier. On paper, she was like any other new hire, young, in need of steady income, and given a chance to prove herself. Jennifer Harris, like many managers in high-turnover environments, gave her that chance, even when others were skeptical. Tension started early in Afeni's employment. Supervisors noticed she was easily agitated, particularly when asked to redo tasks or correct mistakes. Several team members claimed she reacted strongly to criticism, even when delivered calmly. On more than one occasion, she left shifts early or disappeared without clocking out. The restaurant was short-staffed often, and Jennifer had few options. She kept Afeni on the schedule, rotating her between front counter duties and kitchen prep, tried to avoid unnecessary conflict. But underneath the surface, a quiet storm was building. On the day of the incident, the heat in the kitchen was stifling. Orders piled up as lunch traffic surged. Afeni was assigned to food prep, but according to multiple sources, she was already irritated when she arrived. Co-workers noted she was muttering under her breath and appeared distracted. Midway through the shift, a verbal exchange broke out between Afeni and another employee. Jennifer stepped in to resolve it, asking Afeni to take a break and cool down. Instead of calming the situation, the conversation escalated. Jennifer remained composed and professional, but she made a decision that would change everything. She told Afeni to go home for the day. Afeni didn't argue loudly. She didn't shout or slam doors. She simply left. Cameras caught her exiting through the back entrance just before 3 p.m. It looked like the conflict had ended, like tensions had been defused. But something far more dangerous was already forming outside those doors. While the team inside the restaurant resumed their duties, Afeni was driving away in silence. She didn't go home. Instead, she parked her car in a nearby lot, sat alone, and waited. In her vehicle was a kitchen knife with a blade more than 3 inches long. Its presence wasn't random. Police would later confirm it had been brought with intent. Roughly 30 minutes passed. Afeni returned to the restaurant, this time wearing dark clothing and a face covering. She entered quietly through the rear door, which remained unlocked during business hours. Staff were caught completely off guard. Everything that followed unfolded in less than a minute. But the path to that minute had been paved by weeks, possibly months of simmering frustration, unchecked hostility, and quiet resentment that no one had fully seen coming. The restaurant floor was busy as dinner hours approached. Customers lined up at the counter. Fryers hissed in the background. No one suspected that danger was already walking through the back entrance. Afeni Badu Muhammad entered the McDonald's dressed in black. She wore a hoodie pulled tightly around her face and gloves to avoid fingerprints. She moved with determination, avoiding the front of the store and heading directly toward the kitchen, where her former manager, Jennifer Harris, was working. Jennifer had just completed a register count and was moving toward the office when Afeni appeared. Staff members later told police that the moment felt unreal. There was no shouting, no threats, just immediate violence. Afeni pulled the knife from her pocket and lunged at Jennifer from behind. She delivered the first blow to Jennifer's back, followed by a rapid series of stabs. Witnesses said she didn't speak, didn't hesitate, and didn't stop until others began screaming. Jennifer tried to defend herself, but the attack was swift and brutal. Blood covered the tile floor within seconds. Employees scrambled for safety, some hiding behind the counters, others rushing toward the drive-thru window to alert anyone outside. A customer waiting at the drive-thru, who was legally carrying a concealed weapon, saw the attack and fired his gun in an effort to stop it, according to police and the prosecutor's office. Afeni then fled to her vehicle, but the customer followed her and held her at gunpoint until East Point police arrived and took her into custody. Officers entered the scene moments later. They found Jennifer bleeding heavily, unconscious, and struggling to breathe. Emergency responders attempted life-saving measures on site before rushing her to a nearby hospital. She was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Afeni was arrested on the spot without resistance. The weapon was secured, and witnesses were immediately separated for statements. The back of the restaurant, now a crime scene, was cordoned off with yellow tape. Investigators began gathering footage from security cameras and collecting physical evidence. Within an hour, the McDonald's had been evacuated and locked down. The night had started with drive-through orders and dinner prep, but ended in bloodshed and disbelief. Afeni Badu Muhammad was handcuffed at the scene and escorted outside by East Point police officers. She did not resist, did not speak, and showed no visible emotion as she was placed in the back of the patrol car. Her clothing was stained, and the knife used in the stabbing had already been recovered by officers near where she surrendered. She was transported to the East Point Police Department, where investigators began the formal booking process. Fingerprints were taken, photographs captured, and her personal belongings cataloged. The weight of what had happened less than an hour earlier was now being documented frame by frame. During initial questioning, Afeni declined legal representation. According to reports released by authorities, she gave a voluntary statement admitting to the attack in her words, "I was tired of being disrespected," she said, her voice flat but sharp. "No matter what I did, it was never good enough. I was talked down to, sent away like I didn't matter. I was working hard, and no one saw that." She claimed she had been pushed too far, ignored, embarrassed in front of coworkers, and made to feel small. She spoke of daily pressure, of being corrected in ways that felt personal, not professional. She felt like a target, and that feeling, she said, kept piling up. "It's like I was invisible until something went wrong," she continued. "Then suddenly, I was the problem." Every time, Afeni described the moment she was sent home as the final blow. She said she left not just angry, but humiliated. She sat in her car, replaying the confrontation over and over. And then something inside her changed. "I just snapped." She had expressed her frustration on her Instagram post earlier in the day before the attack.
"She's a bully. This shit isn't funny. She needs to understand that just because she's a mother and got children doesn't mean that she can come in this store, disrespecting people, talking to them like everybody's beneath her. She has no respect. And it isn't funny at all. Like, seriously, man, I got shit I gotta take care of. And she keeps sending me home early. It's not funny. She's playing games. And then all day, throughout the day, she keeps sending her little racial shit. And then throughout the day, she keeps on, putting negative energy in the air, talking about people, gossiping about people. It's not funny, man. That shit gonna have to stop. She's a bully. I'm telling you. She's a bully. She brings a lot of negative energy in there. She always panic when there's a lot going on, and then she try to manipulate that and make it seem like we ain't doing something right, but we are working really hard and doing great. It's just the fact that she panicked, and I caught her a few times making a mistake, and she tried to hurry up and play it off. Nobody's perfect. It's fucking McDonald's. It happens. You know what I mean? Sometimes, somebody might get confused. So fuck, it gets busy, yeah. But she needs to stop playing like she don't be making mistakes. I be catching her. So all that animosity and shit that she keep putting in the air and stuff, then trying to tell me, I'm always snapping on people. No, that's false. No, I don't snap on people. I don't go in there doing that. I tell her, no, I make peace. That's what I'm doing. I've been creating peace. So all that negative energy that she's bringing in there and trying to manipulate it, no, that's going to stop. All that negative shit she's saying about, her personal life, all of that. No, she's bringing all of that in there and then playing games saying she want to take her belt off and beat somebody. Y'all act like my kids in here. No, we ain't your kids. Respect us. Stop talking to us like that. That shit is crazy. I'm telling you. But to get sent home 2 days in a row, man, and I came in on my off day to make up my time, and she still sends me home early, it's not funny. Somebody gonna have to do something about that. It's not funny.
Her words didn't justify what happened. They didn't explain the violence, but they revealed a mind trapped in a spiral. One where frustration boiled into rage, and rage turned into a deadly decision. And her explanation lacked remorse. She acknowledged retrieving the knife from her car and returning with the intention to harm Jennifer Harris. Detectives noted that she described the act as planned. She claimed she sat in her car for nearly 30 minutes, thinking about what she was going to do. She admitted entering through the back door without alerting anyone. Following the confession, Investigators charge her with first-degree premeditated murder, citing the deliberate nature of the attack. Additional charges included carrying a dangerous weapon with unlawful intent and an enhancement for habitual offender status, based on her criminal history. By early evening, Afeni had been transferred to the Macomb County Jail. She was placed in a high-security holding cell, pending formal arraignment. Officers described her as silent and withdrawn throughout the transfer. There were no outbursts, no resistance, and no requests for outside contact. Meanwhile, detectives contacted Jennifer Harris's family to deliver the devastating news. Her children were notified late that evening. Grief counselors were made available as part of the department's victim support protocol. Friends and coworkers began gathering outside the restaurant, leaving flowers and lighting candles near the front doors. Media outlets caught wind of the incident overnight. News vans parked near the McDonald's, and headlines quickly began circulating about the brutal killing of a beloved manager. Public records soon revealed Afeni's name, charges, and a brief background on her criminal past. Police confirmed that surveillance footage from inside the restaurant captured the entire incident, supporting eyewitness testimonies and Afeni's own confession. Investigators also recovered the knife, her car, and the clothing she wore during the attack. The evidence appeared overwhelming. As night turned to morning, the East Point Police Department prepared to present the case to the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office. The next steps were already set in motion, and a courtroom would soon decide what consequences Afeni Badu Muhammad would face for the violent act she had now fully admitted to. The morning after the incident, the East Point McDonald's remained closed. A printed sign on the glass door read, "Closed until further notice," but no one needed the explanation. Yellow tape still surrounded the building, and police vehicles were stationed nearby as investigators completed their work inside. By mid-morning, the sidewalk outside had transformed into a memorial. Community members began arriving with flowers, candles, handwritten notes, and stuffed animals. Some stood silently in prayer, while others openly wept. The loss of Jennifer Harris had sent a deep shock through the city. Former co-workers and longtime customers shared stories of her kindness and patience. Many remembered the way she smiled, even on stressful days. A few recalled how she once bought meals for customers short on cash. She wasn't just a manager to them, she was family. Grief quickly turned to outrage. Social media platforms filled with posts demanding justice. Friends and relatives of Jennifer expressed disbelief that she was taken in such a violent way. Many couldn't understand how an argument at work had escalated into murder. The community's sorrow was mixed with anger and confusion. Local clergy and neighborhood organizers began planning a candlelight vigil in Jennifer's honor. The event was scheduled for the following evening and took place directly outside the restaurant. Hundreds attended. Some carried posters with her name. Others held photos of her with her children. At the vigil, Jennifer's oldest daughter spoke briefly.
Tell us about your sweet mom.
My mama was a good person. She was the best mom anybody could ever ask for. My mama, she woke up every day and went to work for us. My mama died trying to take care of us. She died. My God. She was so good to everybody. A hard-working woman. So kind. If anybody needed help, she would give you her last. Give you the shirt off her back. She did not deserve that at all.
How many kids does your mom?
6. All 6 of us. Me and my
5 girls
siblings.
and 1 boy.
My brother.
And she's aware that she took us from her.
We met everybody at McDonald's. My mama always shared with everybody that she loved her kids, showed them pictures of us. We would come up here. We met her co-worker.
Her voice trembling. She described her mother as someone who worked hard for her family, never asked for recognition, and always found time to listen. The pain in her words was shared by everyone present. City officials also addressed the crowd. The mayor offered condolences and promised that the city would support the family through the legal process. Representatives from crime victim advocacy groups distributed pamphlets and spoke about the importance of workplace safety and mental health awareness. The incident became a topic of conversation across news channels and local talk radio. Commentators debated how the tragedy could have been prevented. Some questioned policies around conflict management in the workplace. Others pointed to flaws in the justice system that allowed a person with a criminal record to remain in a position of potential risk. McDonald's corporate representatives issued a formal statement offering sympathy to Jennifer's family and confirming that they were cooperating fully with law enforcement. They also promised to review internal procedures and provide support to affected employees at the East Point location. The days that followed were filled with mourning. Jennifer's family began planning her funeral. Friends continued gathering at the site, leaving more flowers and lighting fresh candles each night. The memory of what happened inside that restaurant did not fade. It became part of the city's collective grief, one that would not be forgotten. On July 11th, 2025, Afeni Badu Muhammad was formally arraigned at the 38th District Court in East Point. She appeared before the judge in a standard jail-issued jumpsuit, her wrists cuffed, her expression flat. The courtroom was filled with quiet tension as the charges were read aloud. The prosecutor announced that Afeni faced first-degree premeditated murder, carrying a dangerous weapon with intent, and habitual offender enhancements due to a prior record. The seriousness of the charges was immediately reflected in the tone of the proceedings. No plea deal was offered at this stage. The defense attorney entered a plea of not guilty on her behalf. Despite her earlier confession during police questioning, legal representation moved forward with the standard process of contesting the charges in court. Afeni did not address the court directly during the arraignment. The judge set bond at $25 million cash or surety only. The amount was based on the violent nature of the crime and the perceived risk Afeni posed to the public. The courtroom remained silent as the figure was announced. The decision was final. Afeni would remain behind bars. Reporters filled the hallway outside the courtroom, documenting every movement. News clips showed Afeni being led in and out by deputies, her face partially obscured by a surgical mask. Her image quickly circulated across state and national news platforms, placing the case in a larger spotlight. The judge scheduled a probable cause hearing for July 23rd, with a preliminary examination set for July 30th. Prosecutors would present their evidence in those sessions, including video surveillance, eyewitness statements, and the knife recovered from a scene. The legal process had officially begun. Meanwhile, Jennifer Harris's family sat quietly in the back row of the courtroom, holding hands and watching the proceedings with swollen eyes. They didn't speak to the press afterward. Instead, they left together in silence, surrounded by friends who had come to support them. The court clerk's desk filled with documents, filings, and motions. Attorneys began preparing arguments and reviewing witness lists. Law enforcement continued submitting forensic results and supplementary reports. The trial, when it came, was expected to draw significant attention. Back at the Macomb County Jail, Afeni was placed under close supervision. She was monitored daily, given access to legal materials, and allowed visits from her attorney. Correctional officers noted she remained quiet and followed procedures without issue. The legal machinery was in motion, and for the first time since Jennifer Harris's life was taken, the pathway toward justice was beginning to take shape. One hearing, one document, and one testimony at a time. Jennifer Harris was born and raised in Michigan. She was the kind of person who didn't seek attention but left a lasting impression wherever she went. From a young age, she was known for being responsible, dependable, and kind-hearted. Her life was shaped by the desire to take care of others. As an adult, she became a mother to 6 children, each of whom she raised with dedication and care. She balanced long hours at work with the constant demands of parenting. Her evenings were spent helping with homework, preparing meals, and making sure everyone was safe and loved. Outside of work and family, Jennifer was active in her local church. She volunteered during food drives and often helped with community outreach events. Neighbors described her as generous, always offering a helping hand when someone was in need, even if she didn't have much to give herself. Jennifer worked in food service for over 15 years. She didn't complain about the long shifts or difficult customers. Her co-workers remembered her as someone who showed up on time, stayed late when needed, and never let stress affect her attitude. She kept the team together, even during the busiest hours. Her children say she was their biggest supporter. She attended school events, celebrated every birthday with homemade cakes, and gave advice that stayed with them long after. Even when money was tight, she found ways to make her kids feel special. Her love was constant, even in the hardest times. Friends recall her as the person you could call at any hour. Whether someone needed a ride, help watching a child, or just someone to talk to, Jennifer always made time. Her phone was always ringing, not from complaints, but from people who valued her presence in their lives. When news of her death broke, dozens of people reached out to share their memories. Former co-workers from past jobs described how she trained them patiently when they were new. Customers who had known her for years brought flowers and shared stories about how she had made their day better. Jennifer didn't live a flashy life, but she built a strong foundation. Her values were simple: work hard, treat people right, and protect your family. Those who knew her say that she lived those values until her very last day. Her children now face life without the woman who held their home together. Relatives have stepped in to support them, organizing fundraisers and helping manage day-to-day responsibilities. Though her physical presence is gone, the habits and lessons she taught continue through her family. Jennifer Harris's story didn't make national headlines because she was famous. It gained attention because she mattered deeply to the people around her. Her memory lives on not only in photos and candles, but in the quiet strength she showed throughout her life. That's a wrap on today's case. But the story doesn't stop here. There are countless voices still unheard, stories still in the shadows, and truths still waiting to be uncovered. Here at True Crime Diaries, we're dedicated to digging deep, exposing the facts, honoring the victims, and keeping their memories alive. If today's case opened your eyes, just know more powerful stories are coming. Stories that will make you pause, reflect, and ask tough questions. Hit subscribe, like this video, turn on notifications so you're always first to know when a new case drops. We post regularly, and what's coming next is something you won't want to miss. Now it's your turn. What stood out to you in today's case? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and your voice helps keep these stories alive. Until we meet again, stay informed, stay alert, stay safe. Because justice begins with truth, every voice matters. Every story deserves to be told.